Hello, hello.
Hey,
Let's see. We have one live viewer. We give people a few seconds to join. Um, Hello, Real Zillion. I'm so bad at pronouncing Twitch username.
happy
It's the
Monday.
worst. Yeah, cool. So we're going to do our um, just normal Blitz planning session like we kind of typically do, and we just decided to try to do it publicly and see if it's interesting, and maybe you can join in, ask questions, whatever. If it's interesting and you like it, we'll keep doing it in future weeks. So
Hey, everyone.
Hi,
um,
Somebody's
I guess we could do a quick round of introduction. So I'm Brandon, the creator of Blitz and founder of Flight Control.
I'm Alexandra, the maintainer of Blitz. Nice to have you here.
I'm Dylan, and also a maintainer of Blitz.
I'm Blake. I'm Brandon's younger brother. I'm mainly working on flight control right now, but I'm just part of Blitz to kind of get a better sense of how everything runs.
Cool. So um, we will be working off um, our GitHub project board for Toolkit. And I can share this in the chat. There we go. So if anyone wants to follow along. Okay, so this is all public. This is where we're tracking our all the work that we're doing, and like so we're kind of planning out like each week we do this. We plan out what we're going to work on this week and what needs to be done for the beta release, since that's kind of the next milestone, and so forth. So let's start by just talking about what we got done last week. So you'll Dylan and Alexander want to just go over like what we got done, and if there's anything to learn from um, like what we did last week, like if something took a long time, like what can we do to make it faster? How can we work more effective, etc.
Okay, so I can start. So I just finished this morning, I finished migrating the passport adapter. And I also improved some typings around like middlewares and like all those helpers like connect middleware, handling requests with middlewares and so on. So the passport adapter is working now. I also have like an example set up in the apps folder in the web application. So this is one thing. Earlier last week, we were also working on like this migrating custom server settings from Blitz config. For now, we focused on migrating the like only the settings of the custom server. So just like now working, you can set up like this hot reload to true or false, and it's being picked up by the blitz def command. And
So how do we how do we migrate this? So we're just are we
right
adding it to
now,
the next
like
config?
no, right now, like we were talking about this, like how to do this, and we were like thinking whether to have like a separate config, but we were like, like if we were to have like a blitz config JSON or blitz config TS, then it would be like three configuration files, like blitz server, blitz client, and something else. So then we were like thinking like maybe we can like integrate it with the existing configuration, but then again it's like it's only for CLI, so we would have to parse the the TypeScript file, and somehow pick this up. And for now, we went with something like Prisma does, or like some other tools do. We have it in package JSON, like there's a key Blitz, and we only have like this custom server, and inside there is hot reload, and we read it from like in CLI, we read it from package JSON and use this value.
Where's the PR?
For,
It didn't get me from here.
yeah, it didn't.
This one?
Let's see, read custom. Yeah. This one.
Okay, so you're reading package JSON. And then you're returning package JSON Blitz. Okay.
Yeah,
so
there should be an example of this setting somewhere. I'm not sure if we added it to like the toolkit app or web app.
Must have been a different PR.
Yeah. Probably. Yeah.
Okay. So initially I was thinking that, yeah, we should like move it somewhere else outside of, because we had blitz config, blitz.config. This is where everything was. But now we're blitz.config is kind of going away, and it's just going to be next.config. So I was thinking we should move it, but now I'm thinking, why not just keep it in next.config?
Okay. So we would read from next config.
But I think we just need to move it into a .blitz key. Or sorry, not a .blitz, just a blitz key. So everything so there's a blitz object, so it's going to be inside the next config. You're going to have a blitz object. Inside of that, we can have like our log configuration, our okay. So so one problem is that if you read runtime configuration like log data from this, then this file has to be present in production. And sometimes it's not, like on Vercel, they may or may not include this file in production.
But isn't it also a problem that like users will have three places to configure Blitz? Like there's a configuration for client, server, and a separate place?
Well, even with this solution here, they have three places.
Yeah, that's true.
So one thing we need to try to figure out is some way to have isomorphic config, right? Like for the cookie prefix, like we have to define that on both the client and the server. And we only want to define that one time. We're also going to have the same thing for a log. So maybe this is like where in our setup server. So switch to the main branch. All our toolkit development is on the main branch. Actually go into toolkit app. So we have under app, we have setup client, Blitz client and Blitz server. So in here, we can add a new export, like config equals and then log level equals and then like I don't like this so good, but and then logging would be maybe log is a global thing in here. That's something we need to figure out. And then we'd also need to do this over in the Blitz server file. Thoughts? Prayers?
I was wondering if there was any potential way of merging everything into one file and dealing with server stuff and client stuff like magically, I guess you could say, in the back end. I guess that would require some experiment.
Yeah, I feel like there's probably something we could do. Hey, Swiss. Going good. Hope you're doing well also. Yeah, I think there's something we can do here. But it's like start with something that's working and then we can figure out how to optimize it, right?
Mm-hmm.
What do we
Yeah,
the
so this is
configuration-
why. Yeah, sorry. This is what we were thinking, like to start with this package JSON, and then we can like when we have to migrate other stuff as well, we can figure out something better. And since we already had like a support for custom server, but this small thing wasn't working, then we like wanted to ship it.
Yeah. So the custom server config, we just have, is there just one configuration item, which is watch in dev mode?
Yeah, I believe so.
I think something like the logs has to be runtime. So I think all runtime config needs to be in one of these setup files. Stuff that's not runtime, like the server, custom server, that could be in either package.json or next config, because it doesn't, we don't have, something like that doesn't matter about Vercel and production deployments and stuff. So do you think it's better to have it in package.json or in next.config?
I said package JSON only for like being prepared for the future and being framework agnostic. But then again, now that I think about it, the watch command for the custom server is pretty specific to the next CLI command. So
So I would say that once it gets bigger, like once we have more like configuration, then it should be in a separate place, like next config. But like you know, like sometimes you don't want to put all your configuration in package JSON. Like if it gets bigger, like you know, like for example with Turbo Repo, you want to put it in a separate file once it's really huge. So it would be nice to have this option here too. Like maybe we can leave this, like you know, if someone wants to keep this in package JSON because they want, they can leave it in package JSON. But if they don't want to mess up with their package JSON, they can move it to next config.
So a few thoughts here. Well, number one, sorry, we should have discussed this more last week, probably. So that we didn't like possibly changing something. So my bad on that. Sorry. So my thought is that we should probably keep it in next config, because it simplifies having, instead of having multiple different configurations, different places like package.json and some other config file. Also, next config it's already in Blitz config, so people are used to that. So probably they're going to think to just look at next config. So for consistency's sake and for, yeah, I guess mainly consistencies, I think it would be better in Nextconfig. One thing that is nice is that Nextconfig does not have TypeScript or anything, so we don't have to use ESBuild anymore to build it. We can just like require it
Mm-hmm.
and read it. So what do you think?
Works for me.
Yeah, works for me too. So I'm gonna create an issue for that.
Okay. Yeah, again, sorry that we didn't get to discussing that more. Before you actually did the BR. So next, you worked, Alexander, on this query client thing. Let me pull up your tweet, because that was a good tweet.
Yeah, this is done. Docs are updated. Yeah, this is a nice change.
So this is before on the left. This is after. Was what Blitz 2.0 is going to do for prefetching. So like before, you had to do all this goofy dance stuff, and now it's much much nicer.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's going to be awesome. Let's get rid of some of these things. Okay. The rest was you, Dylan?
Yep. I mean, the two big things that we should probably talk about is the suspense error, as well as the Codemod CLI. So if people didn't know, we were having some issues with React Query in the latest React version. I'm sure Brandon, could pull up an issue. Yeah. So one of the current solutions just to hide the error is to just check if the app is mounted before running any of the suspense stuff or rendering at all in general. Brandon, do you want to speak about what the future entails on how we're going to actually
So the
issue?
which was the hack? This one?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm not supposed to say hack on the live stream. So the issue is that we, with React 18, we currently need an API that they haven't added to React yet, but we're expecting them to add it within a couple weeks. Is what I've talked directly to Andrew from the core team, and they are working on adding this. So in the meantime, we have to wait. This one. This is the. Have you done the new PR to move it into our code?
Yeah.
Is it not merged yet?
It should be.
Did you do it with another PR?
Let me check. Might just let me see.
So anyways, hey Drew, awesome. Glad you're liking Blitz. So yeah, the what we had before at least. Basically the fix at the moment is to not do any suspense stuff on the server. And so the loading screen is just, instead of a loading screen rendering on the server during pre-rendering, it's just going to be blank now because we have this mounted check. And so this is a workaround until we get the Blitz or their new React API. So this is the main blocker for a beta release, is getting this new React API. So hopefully it'll be very soon. Hey, Tories. Cool. Got for the feedback. We'll keep doing it live if you all find it interesting, and you don't go to sleep. As long as we don't put you to sleep. We got like 21 people watching now. That's cool. Did you find your PR, Dylan?
I didn't. Well, I'll have to look after. I might have just pushed it to main, to be honest.
Oh,
Yeah.
moving fast and loose. Cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so anyways, now we have it internally. We're kind of have a workaround for that. Okay, Blitz next commands need to work with custom server, and so this is like Blitz dev build and start all work with custom server now, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, I think it's reading from package JSON like we were talking about. But.
And then we have Blitz.dbc. This command is migrated now.
Mm-hmm. That was a lot of people were requesting that. So.
And all of this been published the latest alpha?
Yes, it should be. We had a little issue with the automation.
But we fixed that and we released, I think, on Thursday.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if this was Thursday, but I think it was Thursday. So yeah.
So you can try the new Blitz 2.0 alpha by installing the Blitz at alpha tag and generate a new app, and you'll see like what's there, and it should work. If you have any problems or bugs, let us know. Okay, and then you were working on Codemod.
Mm-hmm. There's a draft PR open right now. It's actually been quite interesting and fun working on this. A lot of what's been done so far is just setting up different pages, transferring things over. The next task on that big list of things is trying to figure out how to import the right packages from like Blitz RPC, Blitz Next, etc. Because right now everything is just being imported from Blitz. So yeah, this is something I was talking about with Alexandra. Maybe create some sort of I don't know, some sort of map where like, for example, the resolver comes from.
So we already have a map. See if I can find it. So this is rewrite.
Rewrite imports.
Actually, I think it's this crazy file search. It ignores every build directory. So there's a build directory in here, but it doesn't search it because it ignores it. It's the most annoying thing ever. Next, actually, I should use my file tree. This would be easier. Build Babel plugins. Rewrite imports. There you go. Here's your list, your map. So you can see what goes to link to next link, image to image, script to script, document. And then these are all of the Blitz imports as well. And then also there's more next stuff down here. So
cool. That's helpful.
Actually, I'll have it up here.
Can't wait for you to use Blitz 2.0 in production.
Oh yeah, me too. Soon. So as soon as we get this beta released, that's like when we're going to start using it in production at Plug Control. So soon. Okay. So we got. Yeah, so the idea on this Codemod thing is that you can just run a CLI command. It'll automatically convert all your code from legacy Blitz setup to the new setup with very minimal work needed on your part, if any at all. How's the Codemod stuff going?
Pretty good.
Fun?
Yeah, it's fun. It's there's some AST stuff as well with JS code shift, which is always a challenge, but it's a fun challenge. And yeah, like if you can see, I tried to get some of the basic stuff set up until we start getting into more Codemod stuff. Let's see what copy from. Okay.
That way we don't have to worry about keep maintaining this separately.
Good point. Some other thing, I need to run a linter as well after we run the code mod for situations like this as well, to make sure the code is clean. We have previous code that we can just reuse for that. But yeah, so
Linter
far.
and formatter.
Sorry?
Lint. So we want to lint and run prettier.
Yeah.
So it'll format any code we generate or change, format it all according to their standard.
So yeah, the idea is for this Codemod CLI to be pretty seamless, and like Brandon was saying, you just run it, and then hopefully your legacy Blitz app will run just as it did. So
okay, so all this stuff is done
Mm-hmm.
last week. So we will archive. Okay, so we did not. Did we? We did not make an announcement last week.
Mm-hmm.
Is there? Should we have, or like, is something else still blocking us?
I think we can. Alexander, you want to?
Yeah, like with this fix that Dylan did with mounted check. Yeah, I think we can make an announcement. Maybe we can wait for this passport adapter to be merged. I'm just about to merge it. I want Dylan to take a look. But we can merge it. The release will be done, and we can make an announcement.
So this week.
Yeah, and ideally, Alexander and I do some QA, I guess, real quick to just go through the flow of getting a new app set up, making sure everything works.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think this Blitz config thing, we should have this for beta.
Okay.
So that we're not like breaking people's stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, and as well as so maybe for this week we'll do the move Blitz config to next config, get the code mod finished, and as well as the regenerate routes manifest in development when the pages change. I think we should get done this week as well, and then we start moving into.
And the code modes may take a while. Like we'll split the tasks probably with Dylan and work on that together to get it done.
Yeah.
I paused my work on these tests. This was facing some issues, so I will go back to it probably.
Yeah, there was also an issue posted, I believe it was this morning, from a community member that.
Yeah. We should also take a look at it. There was something like that. Zode helper wasn't being exported properly. Like there was an import issue. Maybe it wasn't exported from the correct file. Like maybe we only exported from server, and someone was trying to use it on the client. That's my guess. Yeah. This is a client call, like from TSX. So maybe this issue is that we just don't export it from browser, but only from the server.
So that will be part of things like this, which is very helpful from community members. But Alexandra and I will also do a little QA as well to make sure, like I said, things are running smoother. And
Yeah.
then an announcement for everyone, and any bugs the community finds, it's very helpful to share with us. So.
All right. So, and I'm trying to think if there's any code anywhere that you can use as an example for this.
For the regenerate routes manifest?
I know that there is a, let's see, Prisma. Well, this isn't actually doing a file watcher, so this is using a Webpack plugin to see if certain things. Okay, I don't think this will be helpful. Okay. So I don't have any more context to add on this one. On this one, the decision, or one question, is whether to so this is our current config. Should we keep this like it is or move it inside a Blitz key? Moving inside a Blitz key adds a lot more work for our Codemod stuff. So it'd be nice just to leave it.
Yeah, but I think there should be some context.
Yeah, because then people won't know, like if someone new comes to the code base and see like the next config, they may not know what comes from next and what comes from Blitz.js.
Right. Okay, so anything else?
So there's one thing I have in mind. So when we were doing prefetching in the Blitz framework, like a few months ago, like last year, we added this thing to get infinite query key, because it wasn't working for infinite queries because we were adding this infinite prefix for keys. And right now with this prefetch Blitz query, I think it also won't work well for infinite queries. So like I was wondering like whether we should have like a specific prefetch infinite Blitz query, or pass it like as a configuration. But this is also something that we should cover for the release, I think.
Yeah, you're right.
I have an issue for that in the to-do column, so I can actually move it.
All right, so the options are prefetch infinite blitz query or
pass it as an option.
pass it as an option. So it'd be a third object here, or third argument object that would have like
Yeah,
infinite.
right now the third argument is like the React query options. I think.
What do you all think?
I think have a separate function personally.
Yeah, I would lean into this option too. But also, what about like making shorter, like prefetch query? I know that React query already has a function called prefetch query, but this is on our context. So I think it's quite, like, people will see that it's like it's about the Blitz resolvers. It's not React query. So if we like make it shorter, like prefetch query and prefetch infinite query, it might be good. Because if we do like prefetch infinite Blitz query, it's quite long.
Yeah, I was thinking about that too. I think we can shorten it.
Okay.
Do you want to do that this week or?
Yeah,
I mean, not sure if we'll manage, but this should be an easy task anyway. So like we can on it.
Cool. So
anyone have comments?
Yeah, good point. I'm going to follow up with so is a person at Vercel that is adding this new React API. So I'm going to track this person down and try to get more like precise details about when we can expect this new API for the Suspense stuff.
And just to be clear, there's really no issue. React is just throwing an error that we need to get rid of.
The problem is we don't have a way to render the loading fallback on the server.
Right.
Without throwing an error.
Right.
So we can throw an error to make it happen, but that's should be only for if there's actually an error, not an expected case. In this case, it's an expected case that we want to do, which is why they're adding a new API that lets us do that.
Cool.
Got any comments, questions from the chat before we sign up for today? Should we do this again next week? Should we keep doing live or?
I think we should do some live coding sessions, working on some issues and tasks.
Oh yeah, we have something scheduled this week. What do we have scheduled this week? We have
the RPC, going over RPC code.
Okay, Thursday at like 11 a.m. Eastern, we'll be doing another Blitz live stream and going over how our new RPC code works.
Because right now it's magic. And we'll get a better understanding.
Demystify the magic.
Yes.
Cool.
No problem.
Well, thank you, everyone, for watching. Thank you, Alexander and Dylan. Blake, even though you're just kind of tagging along for the Blitz stuff, just to learn. But good work. Yeah, it's going to be exciting to get this beta release out and get people using 2.0.
Agreed. Thanks, everyone.
Yeah, thank you.